For decades, the blueprint for entertaining the masses relied on massive budgets, sprawling sound stages, and slow, deliberate pacing. The traditional studio playbook assumes these high-end cinematic standards are the only path to global success. Drop those exact prestige formats onto YouTube today, and they will likely flop. Traditional film strategies lack the flexibility to adapt to rapid trends, making them incompatible with the speed of digital consumption. Success in this environment requires a platform-native approach. Every production decision serves the singular goal of engineering and holding human attention above all other creative metrics. Achieving this requires an obsessive level of data analysis. Creators spend upwards of 30,000 hours studying the most minute variables, proving that even a slight adjustment in set lighting at the start of a video can measurably reduce viewer drop-off. Digital virality stems from this hyperfixation on data. Because these operators treat content as a calculated science, they view average work as a liability to the mission, systematically purging any person or process that fails to deliver world-class results. Before a single frame of video plays, the click-through rate establishes a contract with the viewer. This metric represents the expectations set by the thumbnail and title, forming the foundation of why someone decides to watch. Physical production must flawlessly match that initial visual promise to maintain trust. If a viewer clicks for a massive yellow castle and sees a small red one instead, they feel lied to and immediately leave. This data represents the attention span of 60 million people. This initial plunge is the first-minute drop-off, the most statistically dangerous moment in a video's entire lifespan. Surviving this drop requires aggressive countermeasures. Producers front-load the most interesting content, use flawless initial lighting, and ensure the video pays off the title's promise within seconds to stabilize the curve. Controlling these first 60 seconds forms the absolute baseline of success. Without surviving this window, the rest of the production becomes entirely irrelevant to the algorithm. Between minutes 1 and 6, the narrative must transition from initial hype into a sustainable story. Quick scene changes and stimulating content keep the audience invested in the progression of the challenges. Exactly when a viewer might get bored, producers trigger a re-engagement. This sudden, massive spectacle is engineered specifically to jolt the viewer's attention back into the story. This involves stunts that seem illogical from a standard budget perspective, like using a crane to lift an entire house. It serves a psychological purpose, executing a feat so difficult that no other creator on the platform can replicate it. Long-term retention is further driven by stair-stepping. Producers start with small stakes and exponentially increase the cost and visual scale as the video progresses, constantly raising the bar to keep the viewer hooked until the finale. Holding attention for 15 minutes is an unnatural feat. It must be forcefully manufactured through these constant, escalating injections of visual and narrative adrenaline. Delivering this relentless pacing requires an underlying operational pipeline that functions without excuses. Every team member must treat their specific tasks with total ownership to ensure the filming schedule never slips. Most videos rely on a critical component, a singular object, location, or talent that is essential to the concept. If the video is about surviving on an island, securing that island is the only thing that matters. Protecting these components requires an aggressive management style. Producers must demand daily updates on bottlenecks and systematically push through initial rejections from vendors until every possible avenue is exhausted. When facing budget constraints, producers apply the principle that creativity saves money. A $20,000 cash prize can be replaced with an absurd physical lifetime supply of a product, achieving a funnier and more memorable visual at a fraction of the cost. The limit to achieving massive viral scale is rarely financial. Usually, the true bottleneck is a team's ability to maintain this level of creative problem-solving under extreme operational pressure. The chaotic, spontaneous fun seen on screen masks a highly controlled, mathematically tracked puzzle. Every second is cross-referenced against psychological data and rigorous project management. Producers prevent their formats from decaying by relentlessly curating their information diet. They consume vast amounts of diverse cultural inputs, from cartoons to niche memes, to ensure they always have fresh inspiration for the next video. Audience desires are fluid, meaning any static formula will eventually fail. The most successful creators constantly ditch their own proven formats in exchange for new ones to stay ahead of the curve. Historic studios rely on prestige and slow-moving prestige, while hyper-agile digital creators now dominate the global landscape by moving from concept to delivery in a fraction of the time. Entertainment dominance today belongs exclusively to those who obsessively reverse engineer human psychology. In this environment, data-driven precision has replaced traditional artistic intuition as the only way to stay at the top.